Here's my hand, palm facing out. I look at 4 basic things. How the arm comes up and connects to the hand, the palm of the hand, which as you can see is quite big, the fingers, and the thumb sticking out here on the side of the palm of the hand, and what I'm just going to call the thumb pad. This part of the hand has a thumb bone in it and some muscles, but it shows up as a big bump in the hand. So just to be very simple, I'm going to draw this hand in this position and show you what are the steps that I follow to draw it. So first of all, I always draw a little bit of arm so that I can see how the hand is attached to an arm. So I'm just going to do a couple of lines to show me that arm arriving. See that? One side and the other side. Then I look at if there's any useful angles going off from the wrist here. I can see that this side goes off at a bit of an angle. This side is a little bit rounded, and I'm just going to indicate that. That'll be useful later on. So how the hand attaches to the arm. One side goes off a little bit like that. I'm not drawing it, I'm just showing the direction it goes. And the other side's a little rounded and goes off like that. Then I look at the shape of the palm. Let's just call it a squarish oval. So I'm going to draw that in about kind of like that. Now you can see that where the fingers are going to attach, that's not straight across. That's a curve. So I'm going to make sure that I make that into a curvy shape. So there I have the arm and the palm. Now I'm going to see if I can add the fingers. And before I add the fingers, I'm going to look and see if there's any useful shapes that can help me to draw them. So I can see that the baby finger goes straight up from the palm. So I'm just going to show that. And the other finger and the thumb here also go up from the palm. There's a little bit of palm over there, but the fingers go up like that. But how far do they go? Well, let's just compare them to the palm. Here's the palm. Oh my goodness, the palm is longer than the fingers in this position. So I can go to my drawing, take my palm shape, go up, and then make that a little bit shorter than my palm shape. So I know my fingers have to stop here. They're not going to go way off up in the top of the paper. And then I look and see, oh, I can fit them into a little bit of a shape here. I can shape them a little bit like the roof of a house. There's a longer slopey side here and a shorter side here. So I'm going to draw that in because that's helpful for me. And then I can draw my fingers into that shape. So I'm going to go back to my palm, look at how each finger goes in like that in those little spots. Just show where those are. That helps me make my fingers the right thickness. Then there's my first finger, because my fingers are not the same length. That's why we have that house shape there. The next finger, the middle finger, is the longest one. Just going to show it like that. Now it depends on your hand. Some people's fingers, the first finger and the third finger are the same length, and in some people they're different lengths. Mine are different lengths. So I'm going to stick that one up there, like that. And my baby finger is so short, going to be something like that. So there I have my fingers attached to my hand. You will have noticed while I'm drawing that I didn't start in one corner and go all the way around. I've been going from side to side. I've been looking for shapes, and I've been trying to see how things relate to each other or see how they fit into shapes. That's usually how artists draw. We don't usually start in one corner and draw all the way to the other corner. We try to break things down into shapes. You'll also notice that I've been using very sketchy, scribbly pencil strokes, and I'm doing that on purpose. It's like my pencil is looking for what it wants to draw. When I'm happy with what I have, I can always go over and mark it more darkly and then erase out any of the scribbly lines I don't want, or just keep it like a sketch. And I recommend for our drawings today that you keep them very sketchy looking with lots of these lines. So now we've got this far. We're going to add the thumb and the thumb pad. Put my hand nice and flat again. And I'm going to go over to the side here. Look at where the thumb is. There we go. And then finish off with the edge of that thumb pad part and that big, what I'm calling the thumb pad. Now you can see that inside your hand you always have lines and wrinkles. So you can take time to spend a little more time putting detail on that. There's usually some kind of line down here at the wrist. And then we have what we call lifelines. So one of them goes from between the first and second fingers and folds down like that. And the other one, the most important one, goes somewhere like that. So you can add those to your drawing. We also have knuckle joints up here. You might want to draw those in. They are at different heights on the different fingers. You can see that, right? They kind of go around in a little bit of a circle. There's one there, and then there's another one there, and another one there, and another one like that. And did you know? 1, 2, 3, and there's another bone in there, but you can't see it. So now we're going to look at the hand from the back. And I'm going to follow all the exact same steps. So I'm going to do the arm, the palm, the fingers, and the thumb. This time, my hand is coming at quite an angle. So I'm going to draw my diagonal lines like that. And then I'm going to look at anything useful that's coming from where the hand joins the wrist. Now you'll notice I spread my fingers out this time because we don't always hold our hands with our fingers stuck together. And I thought this would make it more interesting. So yes, there's something happening here. The thumb is going off at a bit of an angle to the side of the arm. And here, the hand is going pretty much straight up. So I'm just going to sketch that in and show myself, remind myself that the finger is going to go off at an angle too. So I'm just looking, here's the arm, here's a bit of the hand going straight up, and here's a finger going off. I'm not really precise, but I'm just showing myself, giving myself a little bit of maybe some extra information to help me draw by indicating those directions. Now, I'm going back and I'm looking for the palm of the hand. Of course, now it's the back of the hand. So it's all this area here. And this time it looks more square than it did on the other side. Here we go. We're going to draw it. Just suggest it like that. Again, you can see the fingers are coming off in different spots. They don't come off straight across. They're coming off in a circle shape along a curve. So now, arm, palm, let's see. Fingers. Well, here's my palm of my hand, and my first finger goes almost straight up. So I'm going to just help myself by indicating that. Ooh, that's beginning to look like a hand already. Now, if I look at my hand from the back, I can see more of my fingers than I can from the front. If I just turn that for you, you'll see why. See that knuckle there, which we couldn't see on the other side? That's in there, right in there. So on the other side of your hand, your fingers actually look shorter on the front of your hand than they do on the back. I'm going to put that back down in the right position. And again, I'm going to guesstimate my fingers and my palm this time are pretty much the same length if I take my biggest finger as a measurement. So I'm just going to suggest that to myself. Then I can notice that my fingers, and even down to my thumb, they go kind of around in a circle. So I can indicate that also on my drawing. My baby finger, then there's a kind of a rounded shape that goes up, and then my thumb will be somewhere at the bottom of that. You see, I made a kind of a U shape that I can fit my fingers into. So now it's easier to start from the bottom of your fingers and look at where they attach. So there's going to be the baby finger, then I'm going to have another finger, then I'm going to have the two other fingers coming apart here. And you can really see that our fingers are tapered, so they're wider here than they are here, for most of us anyway. So let's draw those in. I'm just going to sketch them in, and I can always adjust them for detail later, but what we really want is how we would go about drawing those. So there's the baby finger. Now here comes my ring finger. And my big finger, and now my finger's a little bit crooked. I can draw that in. I can indicate that my joint up there is a little bit bent if I want to. That thicker coming down here, and then my first finger. And you can adjust the thicknesses. Maybe you made your palm of your hand too round and it gives you really big, thick fingers. You can fix all of that. You can adjust it so it looks more like your hand if you're using your hand, or my hand. In this case, we're using my hand. Now my fingers look just a little bit long here on the drawing, so I'm just going to adjust those a little bit and bring that one down a little bit. There we go. So now I have arm, palm or back of hand, and some fingers. Now I want to add that thumb and the thumb pad. Now that's really big. So I'm going to go down here and look at what happens. I'm going to go back and look at how that comes off because my hand did move a little bit. So I can see that there's a bit of a bump down there. I'm going to add that on. There goes my thumb off in that direction, and I can see the joints of the thumb and a little bendy part here where my thumb's going to be, and there's the joint that I can see, and there's my thumb coming off. I think that doesn't look big enough, so I'm going to make it a bit bigger. So it looks more like the image that you can see on your video there. See how I just fixed that by drawing on top of it. So there we have the thumb, the hand, sorry, from the back. Now, to make this more interesting and to understand better what I'm looking at, I can add folds in the hand. You can see these are curvy folds in my wrist. That's the skin folding over. And that really gives the idea that my arm is rounded. So I can add those details once I have the basic shapes. I can also add the knuckles. I can see shadows here where my knuckles are in the skin. So I can put those in. There's a knuckle there, and there's also tendons. These help us move our fingers around, but you can't see them completely, but you can see them a bit. There's another knuckle there with a tendon that would come down like that. And there's another knuckle there. I'm just doing little shapes depending on the shadows that I can see in my hand. Then maybe I want to put those wrinkles in that are the folds of my knuckles on the back of my hand. I like those a lot. If my fingers go around in a circle shape, then my knuckle joints will also go around in a circle shape. Something like that. Now the simplest way to draw those little joints, which have a lot of folds, you could have a little line in the middle and a curved line on top and a curved line underneath, something like that. There's actually more lines than that, but something like that will give you the basic idea. So I'm just going to sketch that in here a little bit, and here a little bit, and here, and here. Now I can really see that I'm looking at a hand from the back, can't I? So then there's another joint up here, and I'm using a very thick pencil, so it's going to be a little difficult for me to do that small enough, but I can still indicate that. There we go. And then I can suggest the fingernails. So if I have a finger that looks like that, there's the end of my finger. Make that bigger so you can see it. There's a finger. So the fingernail will go something like this. Now, our fingernails have lots of different shapes, but they go something like that. They're usually a little bit straight on the sides. They curve that way on the bottom and the opposite way on the top. So I can sort of indicate that, and they might be over on the side a little bit the way I have my hand set up. But at least gives us a little bit of an idea just to finish off that effect of looking at the back of the hand. There we go. So there you have the hand drawn from the back.